Alright, everybody. Hello and welcome back to the MGS2 20th Anniversary Marathon event. We have with us today Shadow Skeeth. He's going to be running Onimusha Warlords for us. I have already forgot the name of the difficulty. I am so sorry. Take it away, boss. It's all on you.
Hey everybody, my name is Shadow Skeeth. We're going to be running Onimusha Warlords on Ultimate. This is very much a throwback for a lot of people because if you grew up playing Resident Evil, the original, it's very much that. The static cameras, the tank controls, all of that old stuff that we kind of forgotten about in our memories that we don't want to remember. Yeah, all of that's coming back for about an hour. So let's kick back, have fun, and let's get started. For maximum memes, we are going to play this on English language instead of Japanese language because the voice acting is that bad. Jojo can attest to that with Winback, and we're going to be playing with a very special costume for the main character because this is an anniversary. So the run will start in 3, 2, 1, go.
This way, sir. If our princess is at the keep, there are two ways to get there. The western path, or the northern passage.
Thank you for the good luck, Peanuts. So this is a 2001 release.
Follow them through the other way.
And comms is quiet. I can turn myself up if you guys want. Let me turn up real quick. Is that better? Alright, so we're gonna be playing with the panda outfit because this is an anniversary. We're here to have a good time and all the laughs are appropriate.
Princess Yuki!
Alright, so this is going to be an ultimate difficulty. The difference between ultimate and normal is ultimate is a little bit more streamlined. There's not as much farming you have to do for souls. So anyone that's played Devil May Cry or run Devil May Cry and you know how tight it is to get
Princess
souls,
Yuki,
on normal difficulty you normally have to deal with that. On ultimate you do not. We have the Bishaman sword, which is the best sword in the game, and that opens up all the doors for us because it acts as maximum level keys. Normally we would have to go to certain areas and farm for souls, but we're not going to deal with that. We're going to have a good time. This game has unskippable cutscenes for the most part. It's about an hour long even with the entire game. So you'll be able to experience the full game for the most part. And the audio is going to be interesting.
Flee while you can, you worthless bug! Useless!
He hit the baby panda. He hit the baby panda.
Humans!
So the premise of this game is you get a letter from your cousin, who's the princess that you just saw there, and she requests help because they're being attacked by demons. You ride out to go and help her, and here we are right now. Now it's going to turn into a long Resident Evil styled game of saving the princess. So it's a mix of Zelda and Resident Evil. We'll get some magic powers, we'll get some cool weapons, and then we'll go beat up some bad guys. It's pretty much the premise.
With your current power, you are not capable of destroying demons. We will give you our powers. We are the clan of ogres that has been subverted by the demons. Samanosuke, defeat and seal their souls. To your right hand.
Funny enough, even though the game is Onimusha, there are no enemy Onis in this game. But we are the Onimusha. All the demons, which in the first game they're just called demons, but it's 5 Onimusha games. 4 of which were on the PlayStation 2, 1 of which was on the Game Boy, and that was a tactics game. The first game just had them all called demons. Until we got to, I think it was either the second or the third game, they got a classification of demon known as Genma. So that's what we're basically fighting right now, the Genma. But in the first game, they didn't give them that name yet. They hadn't figured out what they were going to call them, so they were just generic demons. So movement tech in this game is very simple. It's a lot of tank controls. However, they did try giving us an analog stick in this remake. However, it's very, very jank. Very, very jank indeed. It doesn't hold your position well, like for those that play Twin Snakes like I do, or Metal Gear Solid 2, how you're able to run in circles and run really well in using the Joy-Con. You cannot do that in this game, really. It helps you fast turn, but like right there. But if I wanted to run a specific line, like Metal Gear, it does not really respond very well. It keeps trying to snap to the direction you're facing rather than just turn into the direction you're facing. It's very weird. It's like they tried to make a hybrid between analog and tank controls, and it just doesn't work. I know Bath Salted Peanuts uses it. He gotten used to it. I still can't get used to it.
They came out of nowhere and attacked us.
The keep may have also been attacked by them.
The keep is ahead of us that way?
Right.
We play as Jacques in the third game. Jacques Blanc, played by Jean Reno.
I see.
Alright, so since this is for the marathon, for safety, we're going to grab this herb just as a backup. And that'll be our safety net for the rest of the run. We shouldn't need much else. So just like typical Resident Evil style games, we're going to just skip all the enemies. There's only going to be a select few times where we have to get them out of our way, either because they're body blocking or it's mandatory. But because we're not farming for souls, that doesn't matter too much. Plywood would probably enjoy this only because, as most of you probably know, he uses 2 hands for movement on like some of the Metal Gear tech, using one thumb for the joystick and the other thumb for the D-pad at the same time. You kind of do that a lot with the PC port of this game because of that snap to direction that the analog gives you, which is nice, but because it has really bad tracking, you tend to use the D-pad and just tank controls anyway. So you kind of do a hybrid of that sometimes. So we got our first weapon in this game, which is the Ryzen Sword with the Shiden Orb. So in this game, the way it worked is orbs and the swords were separate in terms of leveling. The orbs gave you better magic power, while the swords gave you more physical power. In the later games, they simplified it by just having the sword and the orbs become one. You just basically have the sword that you had to level up and not the orbs. So they got simplified later on in the game, but they raised the amount of experience required in order to level up your weapons. So for example, to level up your orb to max, you need like 8,000 souls. But to level up your weapon, you need about 10,000 souls. In the later games, because they combined the 2 levels together, and they kind of gave us a little bit of a break, in order to raise up, let's say, your first weapon, instead of needing 18,000 souls, you're going to need maybe about 13,000. So they give us a little bit of a break, but it's still more expensive to get to level 3.
I haven't eaten in a while.
So this is our first boss. We're going to get payback for it because he hit the baby panda. Yeah, very easy boss,
Quiet,
especially on
monster.
ultimate mode.
It is time for you to go back to the underworld.
Now, normally those souls on normal mode you would collect because they're very important. Because we would need to get roughly 25,000 souls on the normal run, but because it's ultimate again, we don't need it.
Sweet. Beautiful.
Here's an example of bad voice acting in English.
Dripping blood and what's this? Oh, a liver. What's that smell? Who's there? A human? How disappointing.
Face me, demon!
Who do you think you are talking to? I haven't seen one as foolish as you since that, Nobunaga.
Nobunaga?
I operated on and resurrected that pitiful Nobunaga after he was killed in Okihazuma. He then made a pact with the demons and pledged his eternal loyalty to serve us forever as our slave.
No!
Oh, yes, it is indeed true. Now, let me show you my most recent creation. Go, Ronaldo! Bite the belly of that maggot and feast upon his bloody flesh!
Alright, now we're getting our second weapon, the Enryu. And then the Arashi, or Koen, actually, I'm sorry, orb. This is normally our big powerhouse weapon of the game in a normal run. It's your slow but heavy hitting weapon. But because we have the Bishaman sword, we don't really need it too much. And just to clear out those guys a little bit. Now those blue skulls that you see flying around, those spirit keepers, those are actually the most important enemy for us to take care of in the game on normal mode. Simply because they multiply the amount of souls that you get when you kill them. So normally they give 0 souls. However, if they absorb souls that are lingering out in the open air that you have not absorbed yourself, then what happens is they hold their souls in their body, and the longer that they're in their body, the more they'll multiply. And if you kill the enemy right as it's trying to leave, you get a critical hit which doubles the amount of souls. So every time you kill one of those, you can end up with a few thousand souls. That's kind of how we farm it. But we have to take the time to try to go from Soul Keeper to Soul Keeper, and it's kind of tedious.
And what do you want with that boy?
I should ask you the same thing.
It's almost as tedious as trying to get all the S ranks that are required in a normal Devil May Cry run.
Can you be Samanosuke Akechi?
Not as tedious, but close.
Yes, you are. I cannot believe you are here of all places. I am a servant of the Oda clan. My name is Tokichiro Kinoshita.
This man will eventually conquer the world under the name Hideyoshi Toyotomi.
What is a servant of the Oda clan doing here?
Wait, first we must talk business. Tell me, Samanosuke, are you interested in serving our clan?
I love how the panda's head looks so intimidating, but then you got a cute little baby panda in a kangaroo pouch.
My life is mine and
Last I
mine alone,
checked, pandas are not marsupials. Correct me if I'm wrong.
See?
But I have a
However,
pouch with a baby
don't
panda.
give up yet. We shall meet again.
Samanosuke, is there something you wanted to ask this young man?
The beginning of this game,
Not be
especially
afraid.
once you know where to go and where to run, is very conversation heavy. There's like,
That is not true.
honest to goodness,
Tell me your name.
Peanuts could tell you, on the Chinese version of this game, you can actually skip all of these cutscenes. It's the only version of this game that we can skip all of these little conversational
Fine, then
pieces.
why are you here?
And the
Who
run
brought
is
you
like
here?
half an hour. So if the run is like 55 minutes to an hour, hour and 5 minutes, depending on your skill level and
Go out
so
there
on,
while I look for places like
with
will.
all the cutscenes and all the stuff in the game included. It's kind of sad that the whole game is actually only a half an hour run on the Chinese version. But it's only on that version for whatever reason. Alright, so we're going to do a safety save up here because there's a giant puzzle section that if you die, you lose the run. There are no continues, my friend. So we're just going to do a quick safety save.
I have been able to uncover Yumemaru's identity.
The main things
He is
that
the son of
changed
the farmer.
between Oni
What?
1 and
4 years
2
ago, his parents
versus
were killed at
3,
war.
Sarge,
Princess Yuki found him crying
is
alone
that
and
Oni
brought him to the
3
castle.
actually gave us a working joystick.
And
Like, it
I
actually
also
works
heard
really good.
that Princess Yuki raised him.
We also
as if he were
had
her own brother.
3 people we could play
So he
as,
stole his
all
way
of which
into
were
the
pretty
castle.
cool in their own right.
Save Princess
Because we
Yuki.
had Samanosuke, we had
Why
Jacques,
then is Tokichiro
and then we
after
had
Yumemaru?
Michelle.
Something seems
And
to be
Michelle
going on.
was probably one of the most broken characters because of the grenade launcher.
Samanosuke, we must find a way out.
Yeah, the behemoth beasts were not very fun, admittedly. Do you want to grab? I would learn 2 and 3 if they gave me a PC port. But unfortunately right now they're still only on PS2 and I do not have one that's currently working. No, we had what should have been a PC port of 3, but it's a broken hot mess. We don't count that. Alright, that works. I had the original 3 PC port, and it was hot garbage. I'm talking about a good one, like what they
I wonder
did
what
here.
This room is.
That would have been great.
Huh?
So that room that we just did with that puzzle with the floor, sometimes you get very bad patterns,
Samanosuke,
and
what happened? Are you
that
alright?
room can actually kill your run a little bit because
Is there a way you can
either you
out
get a
of there?
bad pattern and you gotta slowly manipulate way through the room instead of just holding up, which happened there, or you end up with a room that
Samanosuke,
almost every
wait
tile
there.
is designed
I
to
will help
almost
you.
kill you, and it's just not fun. So next we got this water puzzle here. Okay, puzzle's done. Also in this run, we're not going to be getting any of the upgrades. So no health boost, no magic boost. Not that magic boost would help us any.
We are safe now.
So we're
I will
basically
go
running
search for
this
clues.
with vanilla everything. Like, I just missed in the previous room with all the doors, all the levers and doors, there's actually an upgraded armor there called the Holy Armor, which is our level 2 armor out of level 3. And I could have gotten it, but I chose not to, and I hit up. You know, like casually it would be nice to have it, but we don't really require it. So we're going to be running this on normal armor the whole run. There's also the Great Armor, which comes up later, which looks very similar to our normal armor, just a little bit less beat up. And it has the best defense in the game. Again, we won't need it, but there is that third armor. To upgrade our gauntlet, which on this costume is the little flower, see that little dandelion flower that's there? And it'll bloom more the higher level it gets. The way you level that up is by absorbing souls. Remember how I mentioned in the normal run you would have to absorb about 25,000 souls in order to get through the run? If you wanted to actually like get full max run, you know, let's say you wanted to do a max weapons, max gear run, you would need 50,000 souls in order to max out the gauntlet, so that way it has level 3 absorb. Level 3 absorb allows you to pull souls away from the soul collectors that you saw earlier, the big blue orbs. They have level 2 soul absorb. So at level 2 you basically would have a clash to where the orbs don't move, but then at level 3 you can actually stop them from taking your souls by having a stronger absorb.
And when our Lord Nobunaga drinks it, the victory of the Oda clan over the Saito clan will be guaranteed! See you again, Samanosuke!
Alright. So we're coming up to our next boss fight. And it's probably one of my favorite fights normally in the game. And it's still one of my favorites even in the speedrun, because you still have to fight the fight normally. But it's kind of cool. You're on the top of the keep and you have a sword duel. You know, one-on-one, no minions, no ads, just a good old-fashioned duel. That's fight. It was okay. Now we get our third magical weapon, which is the Shippu, with the Arashi Orb. So the Shippu is a cool weapon because it's a double-bladed weapon, and it also has a tornado as its power. So the three powers that we have is we have Ryzen with Lightning, which is a single target but very powerful lightning spell, magical spell. And then we have the Enryu, which has also a very powerful spell, but it fires in a straight line. So anything in that straight line takes heavy damage. It's pretty good even against single targets, but Ryzen's magic is actually just slightly better on a single target because it's meant for single target. The Shippu weapon just creates a giant tornado around you, and it's the best AoE spell we have in the game. You're also immune while you're performing the attack. So you have really good iframes, which we can abuse later on in 2 fights, allowing us to get through one fight very easily, and the second fight, it's a little slow, maybe-ish, compared to using, like, the Bishaman sword in terms of damage, but because of the amount of dodging you have to do using the Bishaman sword, the Shippu just ends up being about even in the fight, because you don't have to move, you just abuse the iframes.
Princess Yuki took care of this boy. Princess Yuki was born the daughter of a feudal lord, and thus raised from an arranged marriage. She has had no freedom whatsoever. So when she meets someone else who's in need, she wants to help them. In this world, only the strong survive.
That panda head is so good.
Let me tell you about the ways of the world, Yamamoto.
The world?
So here's one cutscene that we can actually skip. And it's done.
There are infinite things that we do not understand. There is beauty and freedom all around us. You owe it to yourself and everyone to see these things and then share them with the people of this country.
You can't even see the little boy in this.
Of fighting over such small portions of land on this tiny island.
Help!
Here's more bad voice acting.
My name is Nui. I serve Princess Hatsu. Princess Yuki is underground. Oh!
You all right? Kaede, we have little time. I have to find Princess Yuki. You watch over these two.
I will.
Yeah, I don't think anyone believes that acting. Anyone who faints that way is clearly a liar. Alright, so normally, like I said, we would have to have souls in order to raise up our magic, so that way we can get through level 2 doors. But because we have this Bashaman sword, we do not need to upgrade our stuff. That's one of the main streamlines with the game. This room is always a little bit laggy because of the fog. Let me through. There's another herb in that chest there if we wanted or needed it. Now we have the bell. The bell is what lets us through this area. I remember as a kid, this part of the dungeon actually got my old man confused. He did not know how to get through this door. And then one day we just kind of played with the items in our inventory and we figured out the bell actually opens the souls. So we're going to run in here and grab another box. This is going to be another combo box, which gives us a key to get into the later area. And then we'll get into probably about almost the mid-section of the game. Another cutscene.
Still no interest in coming to work for the Oda clan?
For the last time, no!
I tried my best to help you. You just do not understand the true power of the demons. The time has come! Demons, prepare for the dark ceremony! Now you must suffer the consequences of your actions. I am sure by now, Kaede is in trouble.
Samanosuke,
Here
did you
comes
find
the plot
anything?
twist of the game. Ready?
What are you
She
doing?
was bad the whole
Let go
time.
of me.
Samanosuke?
How dare you!
You are not experienced enough, are you?
To quote probably one of the famous memes, I can't believe you've done this. But now we actually get to a very cool section of the game where we actually get to play as Kaede, and she has some pretty cool movement. We're not going to be doing a lot of fighting with her, sadly, because speedrun, but her combat movements are actually pretty cool. She could throw kunai, she could jump flip over enemies and get an instant kill backstab, which is nice, which we'll try and go for on one of the bosses and see if we get it, but it's really hard.
What happened?
Monsters from West Prison.
Alright, so she can pick locks just by pressing the action button on the doors, which is kind of nice. Because all of these areas, she can, Samanosuke normally cannot get through. Nope. Other way, girl. This way. Come on, Kaede. Alright, we're just going to squeeze past these guys here. And they always follow the same pattern. So if you hug that wall, you're always going to be good. And then the same thing going backwards. So this is like our backtrack kind of section of the game, because we'll have to go to room A to go to room B to then go back to room A to then go to room C. It's that kind of thing. But there's no PAL key, so it's okay. Come on. So that wheel that we just got is what allows us to open up this. So we put the gear in, open this door, and that'll give us one of the plates. We need a gold plate and a silver plate in order to get through a gate later on, and that gate will lead us into a better weapon for Kaede, as well as another cutscene. Then we got this blast furnace room. And now the blast furnace is off. Alright, just squeeze right past those guys. And then we're going to go back to that first area that we were in earlier. But now we have the two plates. That's going to open up a gate, a metal gate. And then that's going to open up a door. And then we'll be able to get a better weapon. We'll be able to get what's called the Sacred Knife. And that's Kaede's like only weapon upgrade in the game. And sadly, we only use it for a little bit. gonna equip her with... Okay, why'd I grab the fluorite? Alright, so we're getting up to our next boss fight. And we found the princess.
You?
Halfway through the game, we found the princess. Again.
Wait a moment. I will help you out.
You are Kaede?
Hmm?
Sanosuke once wrote to me that he journeys with a female ninja, Kaede.
So, you are...
More voice acting.
If only I could leave the castle and see the world with Samanosuke.
I promise this game is a much better in Japanese.
Yuki.
There's less classic PS2 cringe in it.
You can go.
It kind of got the same treatment that like Winback
Forget
got.
about me.
It was
Escape
voice
this
acting that
castle
made you
with
question it.
Samanosuke.
It was great at the
Do
time.
not give up, Your Highness. I will save you.
No, you won't.
What?
Best line.
You can die here alone.
Best line in the whole game.
Princess Yuki!
Alright, let's see if we can get the quick kill. Ah. Okay.
Have to tell him.
You're that ninja. Yeah. Alright, so now we're back as Samanosuke. And we're immediately thrown into yet another boss fight. I love how happy the baby panda is throughout the whole run. All of this mayhem, all of these monsters, everything going on, dead bodies everywhere, and baby panda's just having a good time. So now here's my question to you, chat. The clone Samanosuke confused Kaede because he looks like that. He's supposed to look like me. But I'm dressed like that. How did she not know the difference? His main opening is when he throws the magic ball at us. Come on. There we go. I can't tell the difference. Which one is which? Exactly. Now, I could have healed there by absorbing those souls, but let's run the gambit. Alright, we use the ladder to get out of here. And now we're going to go past one of the doors that we could not open before. Where we first met the little boy. Right here. We're going to open up this door. And this leads us to the third skippable cutscene in the run. Because there's, I think, 5 in the whole run that you can skip. Because all the other cutscenes are kind of like in-game.
Samanosuke, what is this?
That's exactly right, Sparty. This is Kung Fu Panda. But not so much Kung Fu. This is more like Bushido Panda. Okay. So now we have some upgraded enemies finally. Which are the shield-bearing version of those sword guys. And we also got some stronger ogres now. But they don't matter. We're just going to run past them all anyway. Okay, that was pretty good. Once again, Bashama Sword gets us through a level 3 door because it acts as a level 3 key. And for the fun of it, the only way to get rid of enemies. So this room is normally pretty scary casually. However, there's a very easy way of getting through this room. And that's grabbing the sword and leaving. They don't lock you out of that room for some reason. It's supposed to be a mini boss fight room. And they don't lock the door on you. So you can just grab what you want and leave. No security check. It's all good. Alright, so now we gotta head to the front of the keep. And there's gonna be some enemies that are gonna open up a gate for us by breaking it. And then behind that is gonna be a door that we have to go through. It is great game design. Growing up, younger, when me and my old man were playing this game, you know, we thought we had to stay in that room and stick it out to the end and get through the enemies, you know, one by one and, you know, deal with our resources and such. Nope, just leave. Just leave. You don't need to fight nothing. It's like they thought of the speed run ahead of time and just said, you know what, we could make this a dangerous room, a mandatory room even, or we could just forget about that idea and just let the player leave. Or maybe they forgot. Possibly. So this room and these sections of rooms is usually a pretty big prep area on normal difficulty because there's not an enhancement mirror in this area at all. So there's a level 2 green door and then immediately they send you into a level 3 green door. And if you didn't upgrade earlier at the keep long before we got here, you have to run all the way back in order to upgrade. So you also have to manage and make sure you get the right amount of souls in order to open that room properly. So now that mini-boss that Kaede fought, the stealth guys, they're just kind of generic enemies now. They have the same amount of health. It's just that now with Samanosuke you have a better weapon, you know, so you kind of get through the fight pretty easily. So now we're gonna head over to that small dock over there, we're going to get what's called the Great Bow. The Great Bow is a powerful bow that's going to allow us to break that magical stone that was in the sky making that big wind barrier. We need that bow in order to break it. So it's hidden away back here. That's what we're going for. No, the giant snake that you're thinking of is Fortinbras. That's not Nobunaga Oda in any way. That's literally Fortinbras. And he comes back in the 4th game, Dawn of Dreams. In the 2nd game, we fight Nobunaga, and he's the big, like, totem statue thing with, like, 6 arms. And then in the 3rd game, we fight Nobunaga again, and he's, like, in his demon equivalent of an Onimusha form. Alright, jump over those guys. Nice. Didn't get hit. No, 3 does not end on the Eiffel Tower. Oh, I accidentally took out the bridge. Oops. Alright, so we got some tight corridors we got to deal with. Shouldn't be anything too drastic. But they're tight corridors nonetheless, with a bunch of enemies. Ooh, that was a little sketch. Alright, through this door. And now we're gonna get 2 arrows. One is called the Decorated Arrow, and the other is called the Sacred Arrow. So that's the Decorated Arrow that we're gonna need for part of this puzzle. It's a very simple puzzle, but it's a puzzle nonetheless in the game. So we take that Decorated Arrow, we come back here behind the statue of Bishaman, and we grab the Sacred Arrow. Then we use the Decorated Arrow to open the door and also unlock a treasure box, which gives us a key. The key will then get us to the opposite side of the pier, and then with that we'll be able to get onto another little boat. Low health percent. Unfortunately, unlike back when JoJo's playing it, there's no cool music for yellow life percent. This way! Exactly. So now we're getting into another boss fight who, on normal difficulty and casually, is kind of a pain. On ultimate difficulty, they're kind of a joke. And the reason for that is because in ultimate difficulty, we can abuse our magic. But on normal, you would have to use arrows or wait for an opportunity with a lot of blocking. The fight can take a fairly long time normally. Even on a normal speed run, it's kind of a pain. You're at the mercy of RNG the entire fight, it feels like. now we got Bumblebee Lady.
But you are late. Our dark ceremony is starting. Yumamoru will be sacrificed in front of
Or is she more of a wasp?
No!
I'm not an entomologist, but is she more of a wasp than a bee?
He is sacrificed in front of her. Her sorrow will
Or a hornet?
peak, making her blood its most delicious and strongest. Granting our Lord Nobunaga more power when he drinks it.
That is why you took them? You will suffer for that!
Now, my dear babies, consume that human over there at once.
That's the fight. Now there is some positioning with that fight, even though it is spamming your magic over and over again. If you go too far to the left or too far to the right, when the wind hits her, it'll push her in that direction. So think how when you do the liquid infinite, depending on how he's facing, you get pulled into that direction. Either he pushes into you or pulls away from you. And you kind of have to position them into a corner so that way their backwards recoil animation pinches them into a corner so you can get the infinite. It's similar to that, except obviously nowhere near as hard. But there is some positioning. If you try positioning directly in front of her, she can go either left or right on you. And you don't want that. So we're getting into the last stretch of the game. We have a couple more rooms we have to go through. And 2 more boss fights. And then we're done.
Kaede.
So far, I don't have a clock running right now, but so far it feels like it's been a pretty good run. Not too much of an issue. A couple of mistakes here and there on the combo boxes, because I get them mixed up in my head sometimes. But all in all, not bad so far.
Rest here for a while. This nightmare must end. Now!
5130? It's not bad. Not bad at all. Now, just like with Metal Gear games, this game has a scorecard at the end of the run, which we would go to. We do call time on final hit, on final boss. However, we always go to the scorecard as well, for the exact same reasons that we do on Metal Gear games. So we'll be going to the scorecard. Good thing is we can skip the credits. We can actually skip the credits in this game. We can't skip any of the other cutscenes, but we can skip the credits. So I don't know, chat. Do you guys prefer like Metal Gear where you can skip everything except the credits, or skip nothing and then only the credits? Leave your opinions in the chat. So this conversation section is fairly long. I'm including the shooting the arrow part.
You pathetic human worm. Impressive you've come this far, but ultimately futile since your journey ends here. Only demons can enter.
You. Why don't you go back to playing with your worthless little toys? I have no time for you.
What did you say? How dare you? A mere human mock me? Fine then. It's time for you to fight my greatest creation! Come, Marcellus!
And he's back. Round 2.
Go, Marcellus! Crush.
Alright, so second last fight of the game. Okay. Last couple rooms and then the final boss. I hate those guys. They always just slow you down. So there's not a lot of enemies in this area. You got 2 Ronaldos and 1 stealth guy who you can skip. Now that incubation looking thing on the wall will breed out more of those Ronaldos, but that's only important if you're really short on souls and you want to farm, you know, if you need health. But you should be fine typically, even on a normal run, just because you should heal a lot after beating Marcellus. Final boss of the game, and the final cutscene that we can skip within the game that counts.
Help us!
I am Fortune Bra.
Stop!
Okay, here we go.
Even if I die, I will destroy you!
Panda versus Snake, put in your votes. Almost there. I think 1 or 2 more hits. Time. Alright, we're gonna skip the cutscenes and go straight to the scorecard, and that'll be the final on that.
The demons.
54, not bad. And that
GG?
is that is Onimusha. Hope you all enjoyed. I've been Shadow Scathe, and yeah, have fun with the rest of the marathon, guys. Thank you for the GG.
Thank you for the run. And with that, we're going to hop on back over to intermission. We'll get our next run set up. We have on deck Silent Hill 2, run by Aaron. So stay tuned for that. Thanks a ton, everybody. We'll see you soon.